at school meeting. My dad forgot to start it. Can you help? Dad got it! Go, go, go! Finn, go! I got it!
Welcome to school meeting, everyone. We have a full list of announcements tonight, ending with a special and important set of announcements from Mr. Roach, so stay tuned for that. Billy and I would like to start off with some appreciations. I would like to appreciate Ava Sikowski because this Friday she hosted a Zoom conference for the senior class, and it was so amazing to see everyone that I don't have class with. So thank you, Ava. The SNN has an announcement.
Okay, how to follow up then? 1 second. Okay, so I'm back. And this school meeting, I wanted to share with you 3 more news updates from this week. Now, one of these topics does relate to coronavirus and the impact it's having on our society. But I tried to track down overall topics that didn't include the predicted curve or death rates. Overall, it's very difficult finding news that doesn't include COVID-19 in some capacity, which just shows how this epidemic has affected really all facets of our lives. But without further ado, here's 3 topics I found particularly interesting this week. So to start off, the Global Carbon Project has released a statement saying there's a chance that the world's carbon emissions dips down to pre-World War II levels. This is really important because if you asked any official a year ago if a 5% drop in carbon dioxide emissions was possible in 2020, the response would probably be no. That being said, because of people staying home and the halt of economic activity due to the coronavirus, a silver lining does emerge. Of course, while this is certainly important that in 1 year the world's carbon emissions could drop so drastically, this alone is not enough to stop climate change. Many researchers suggest that once the coronavirus passes, life will go on as usual and emissions could resume to pre-COVID-19 levels. Of course, this all depends on whether governments around the world make structural changes in the aftermath of COVID-19 and if independent members of the public altered their daily lives to cut down emissions. So secondly, the future of 2 American satellites is on trial in Washington during the coming months. The fate of both the 30-meter telescope and the Giant Magellan Telescope rests in the hands of Washington because overall the projects have fallen hundreds of millions of dollars short in securing funding. Furthermore, the 30-meter telescope is supposed to be built on top of Mauna Kea in Hawaii, but recent protests from many of the island's indigenous people have made the telescope's future uncertain. Scientists argue that the construction of these satellites is paramount to securing the future of American astronomy. Europe is now building its own satellite in Chile, but once finished, it would only be open for European researchers to use. For now, a committee in Washington will be hearing from different professionals to see if the government will cover the money still needed to build the telescopes. So finally, new global report by the United Nations Development Program was released this past Thursday. In the report, the United Nations Committee declared almost 90% of men and women hold a bias against women. This includes that nearly half of the world's population believes that men would make better political leaders, and more than 40% believe men would make better business executives. Furthermore, it also reported that 28% of men and women believe that men are justified to beat their wives. Of course, this data was only compiled from only 75 countries, but that makes up 80% of the world's population. It's an alarming reminder of the World Economic Forum's Global Gender Gap 2020 report that gender equality will not be achieved for another 100 years. This means in our lifetime, we may never achieve gender equality. While Iceland was ranked first in terms of gender equality, the United States was actually ranked 53rd overall in the world. So, as I say every week, that's very short, condensed news updates that are current right now. While it may seem like the coronavirus is permeating every aspect of our lives, there's more to be found, and I invite you to search for more news stories and to stay informed. Thank you, and that's all.
Humans of St. Andrews has an announcement.
Coming to St. Andrews was a really big transition for me. I came from a public day school in China, so I'm only with my classmates 8 hours a day, and because we're such an academic focused school, even when I'm in school, I don't really get to talk to people that much. But when I come to St. Andrews, I'm suddenly with my classmates 24/7, and everyone seems so extroverted and out there and always making new friends. So I almost felt a pressure to do the same. And that's basically what I did the first half of freshman year. But I started realizing that if I'm feeling mentally exhausted from too much socializing, but I'm still forcing myself to talk to people, I'm really not being my most amazing self. I'm not energetic. I'm even a little passive aggressive sometimes because I'm not at a good place mentally. And I decide I need to change that. The first thing I did is to be more open with my friends. If I want to be by myself, but my friends came to hang out, I will talk about how I feel and let them know that maybe alone time is what I need right now. And it's really scary, but I'm lucky and my friends are all really supportive and respect my decisions. The second thing is to understand that being alone is nothing bad. I'm just recognizing what I need and taking care of myself. After doing these two things, I become so much happier, and socializing feel more like a fun thing to do than a painful obligation to me right now. So if you're an introvert, please know that taking time for yourself is nothing bad. It's great. And if you're an extrovert but have introverted friends, understand that maybe hanging out isn't the exact thing they want to do at some moments and respect that.
Hey guys, I just wanted to let you all know that even though we're off campus, Humans of SES will still be up and running. So please email me and let me know if you'd be interested in joining in this project in any way, just because we're gonna have a really cool, special, fun thing later this spring. So thank you.
Senora has an announcement.
Good afternoon, everybody, or good evening, good morning to some of you. It's so wonderful to see so many of you joined us today. Just a quick announcement about tomorrow at 6 p.m. This comes from the Lyceum that Ms. Pressman is putting together. One of my favorite authors, Julia Alvarez, is talking about her new book. And I would love, and along with Casa Latina, to watch it and to have a discussion afterwards. So if you are interested, email me and I'll put the Zoom link for all of us who want to discuss her talk after. Thank you so much and have a wonderful rest of your day.
The Science Challenge has an announcement.
Hi, everyone. My colleagues in the science department are coming up with challenges for you all to take on every week. And this is a way for everyone to think about science in fun ways that you can all do from home. So our first installment comes from the inimitable mind of Mr. Daly, a man full of unusual talents. One of those talents is his ability to catch food in his mouth from seemingly impossible heights. Our challenge this week is for you to figure out how high the cherry tomato Mr. Daly is about to catch traveled in the air. We'll send everything you need to figure this out via email, including how to submit your answer. So here we go.
Okay. Okay, great.
Okay, so there you have it. Correct answers will be noted and gathered each week, and we'll recognize effort and correct answers. Also, if you think that you can catch a piece of food from a higher height, then send us the video. Mr. Daly loves a challenge. Get excited.
Mrs. Hurt reminds all 3rd, 4th, and 5th form students that the course catalog is online. You can find it on the SAS website under academics. Stay tuned for announcements about course registration coming later this month.
The Student Choreographic Showcase has an announcement.
Hi, everyone. The Student Choreographic Showcase will be happening on April 17th, and Steph sent out an email today about kind of the logistics, but I just wanted to kind of talk about a few other things. So it's going to be a virtual experience similar to Open Mic Night, which was great. And we want as many video submissions as possible. You can be outside, inside, in a large space, a small space. And if you have a group dance, you can kind of record yourself singularly, and Mr. Gold will be able to kind of merge the clips together, which is really cool, to kind of make it look like you're in a group dance. And although we won't be on Engelhardt stage, we still need the same excitement, encouragement from the community. And if you have any questions or any concerns, please feel free to reach out to any of the seniors or Mr. Golden. We'd be really happy to help you or assist you. And we really kind of are really excited. We miss the Cameron room and the studio, but we're really excited to kind of make the best out of this situation. So thank you.
Mr. Cunin is here to motivate you.
Hello, St. Andrews. I am. Hello, St. Andrews. I am here at the Cunin residence in New York. As many of you may have heard by now, I broke my leg a few weeks ago in a jet ski accident while in Aruba. Upon returning to the States, It needed surgery in order to repair the leg, and I'll be in a cast for a few more weeks. But I didn't let that ruin my vacation then, and I'm not going to let it bring me down now. As my martial arts teacher said, there's no excuses. So, while I wouldn't recommend trying this at home, I want you to stay physically active, engage your mind, eat right, and get sleep. So, be resilient, stay positive, and keep holding the space. Griffin up.
The St. Andrews Book Club has an announcement.
Hello, everyone. Madeline and I wanted to announce that we have scheduled a date for our next meeting, which is going to be for Educated by Tara Westover. And our meeting is going to be next Friday at 10 a.m. in the morning. And if you read the book completely, if you read part of it, we really encourage you to show up. It's an amazing book about an amazing person's life, and it's going to be super exciting to discuss, and we have the best questions that we've found yet, so we're really excited.
Yep. So the meeting is going to be really good, and we've had a couple people asking us about if we're going to do another book, because everybody has so much time and we know you all want to spend it reading. But we thought that, choosing one book would be really hard just because logistically getting it is tricky. So we came up with another idea. So we're going to send out a document later this week organized by genre. So everybody, faculty and students included, is welcome to share some book suggestions and just like the title, your name, the author, and then a summary if you want, so that we can all kind of keep talking about books, but we don't have to all read the same thing at once. And then, of course, if you want to talk about a book in particular, just email Spencer or me, and we can try and set up a meeting or something like that. So yeah, stay tuned for more information.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
If you are signed up to take an AP exam this year, please check your account on My AP for important information on date changes and the online test format. If you have decided that you are no longer interested in taking the exam and want to cancel, please email Mrs. Sporch.
Thank you, Piper, for everything you do. Your hard work truly shows. Dr. Johnson has a math challenge.
Good evening, St. Andrews students. It's Sunday morning. Good evening, St. Andrews students. It's Sunday morning for me here on campus. I recorded this so that you would have a taste of the campus even though you're not here. There's beautiful flowering trees behind me. The school is flowering, and I know your knowledge is flowering at home. Well, one of the sad parts about this spring for me is that we won't have a math weekend. And last year, you remember, many of you were here when Dr. Po-Shen Lo came and talked to us about how modern dice were designed and how thinking about math problems is a beneficial way to spend our time. So in lieu of this math weekend, I thought I'd present a challenge for the school. I'm going to be sending out 4 problems, 1 for each form, after this announcement. This is advice that I'm taking from Dr. Po-Shen Lo. He suggested that the way we get better as a department and as students is by doing really challenging math work and doing the work of mathematicians. When we had lunch with him, this is the advice he gave me when I said, what should we do as teachers to get better? And he told us to try these problems, that I'll be sharing with you. So stay tuned for a survey. You can check your email after this school meeting, and you'll have an opportunity to represent your form by answering the form with the most correct answers will get honored at next school meeting. We miss you, we love you, and I'm sorry that we won't be together, but I believe that Dr. Po-Shen Loh is right, that with practice on challenging math problems, we become better people. I love you all. Stay safe. Good luck.
Happy birthday, Mrs. Burrell. Thanks for being such an inspirational dorm parent, coach, mentor, and mother. We love you.
Liz Hall has an announcement about the St. Andrews presidential primary.
All right, hi guys, I hope you're all doing well. This announcement is just a follow-up to the email that I sent out a couple of days ago about hosting a St. Andrews mock presidential primary. We're looking for a couple more people who are interested in the campaigns of Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, and Donald Trump, who would be willing to help give a voice and inform the wider community about these platforms and policies, so that we can host a fully informed mock primary as soon as we can. If you're at all interested or have any suggestions, I'll follow up with an email after school meeting, and I look forward to working with whoever is interested in getting the ball rolling. Thanks.
Girls Collaborative has a Women's History Month announcement.
Hey everyone, March was Women's History Month and March 8th was International Women's Day, and we at Girls Collaborative wanted to make a video to highlight all of the special women in our own community.
I'm inspired by my roommate Madison because she's always there to support me and never fails to put a smile on my face.
Miss Dupre and Miss Gahagan in the way they lead our empire.
My roommates because they keep me motivated every day. Mrs. Burrell every day because she's so kind and pushes everyone she knows to be a stronger person.
All girls on Moss.
Mrs. Tori, she does so much and she does it all with such grace and poise. She's a true queen.
My advisor, Miss Chu, the amount of love and respect that she has for each one of her students and the radiance that she generates on a daily basis, the passion that she puts into her work is incredibly inspiring and admirable, and she is an outstanding woman.
Miss Roz because she is always there for me.
Mrs. Roach because she's an amazing athlete and coach.
Mrs. Tower every single day because, number one, she's super compassionate, she's super funny, and she is one of the most badass women I know. Love you, Mrs. Tower.
Miss Ewald because not only is she really smart and eloquently spoken, but she's also aware of current events and issues, and I really appreciate that about her.
I'm my roommate of 3 years and best friend since first grade, Ingrid Elizabeth Hoops, because every single day she motivates me and inspires me to be the best version of myself.
Job because she truly values others' health, well-being, and safety.
Miss Pressman. With all of her inspiration and her constant engagement with the freshmen on dorm, it is clear how much she really cares about the students of St. Andrews and how much time she puts into their future and their well-being.
Mrs. Tammy, because she always has the biggest smile on her face, and no matter how busy she is, she always makes time for us just to catch up and make sure we're doing okay.
Miss Raj, she's always so nice and kind, and she's been a really great advisor, and she's always silly and has fun with everyone.
My roommates, Nina and Amrit, because they're beautiful, kind women that are the best friends I could ever ask for.
Miss Brownlee inspires me because she has the biggest heart and is a great listener.
Miss Pressman, because her social reform class in semester 1 got me really excited about American history and it completely changed the way that I look at American history.
Dov, because she cares so much about other people and she has so much wisdom and advice to give. She's such a people person. And she's also so busy, but she's hardworking and motivated, and it's just so impressive to watch her do all sorts of different things and then still take her time to help other people.
Mrs. Roach, because since she's been my advisor for the past 2 years, she has just led me in so many incredible ways and provided such great advice. And I'm always in awe of the powerful and incredible woman she is and everything that represents for me.
Miss Dolly, Miss Tammy, and Miss Faith especially inspire me because they're hardworking, positive, and family-oriented women who remind me to love and be the best that I can be.
Both of my roommates, Heidi taught me to not be afraid of who I am, and Brad taught me to pursue my dreams.
And Mrs. Daly, my advisor, is truly inspiring because of how hard she works in admissions.
Lou Burrell. She is one of the most positive women that I know. She's all about empowerment and great ideas and putting those ideas into action, and she doesn't let any moss grow under her feet, and she just keeps trucking on forward even if it's a bad day. I know that she's got positivity in her heart and she just keeps on going. So thank you, Lou, for all that you do every day to keep us positive and to always look on the bright side. I love you.
Miss Hansel and her constant love for others.
Today is Josie Pitt's birthday. On behalf of the entire SAS community, we love you and hope you had a spectacular day. Love, friends.
Weekly yoga again this Thursday at 3 p.m. EST with Mrs. Rozanowski and Mrs. Brownlee leading Vinyasa Flow Yoga. All are welcome.
St. Andrews Senior Stories has an announcement. Afterwards, please stay tuned for some important and special announcements from Mr. Roach.
So what brings you the most joy?
Reading a really good fiction novel. Sometimes it can be Harry Potter, or I really enjoy reading contemporary literature. I would say one of my favorite pieces is Sing and Buried Sing.
I think bringing other people joy. I love making people laugh. I played volleyball and I played for 4 years. But when I see one of the younger girls get on the court and get a spike like that fills my heart so much more than when I do.
I've never had a thing, like a sport or I paint, but it's never been my thing. And so I like to think that my thing is just my friends and the people that I love. And so I put a lot of my energy into those relationships.
I was always a really close-minded kind of picky eater. Didn't like to stray from reading books that weren't Percy Jackson or Harry Potter. I loved Star Wars, but nothing else. It was I was set in my ways and you couldn't change me.
I'm someone who's really independent. I like to think I can deal with all of my own problems by myself. I think those are mine, and I think sharing them with other people, or I thought that sharing them with other people was a burden.
I think coming to St. Andrews was one of the hardest things I've ever done. I was just scared to open up. It's scary going to a new place and you have all these emotions.
That moment when I considered going to boarding school and what it would be like to go to school away from home was a big moment of me opening up. I found that was something I really enjoyed, to just be able to go out and enjoy free time with friends.
My junior spring, I started rowing. So I was in the boat. I was having a bad day before. I got so worked up. And I started shaking and I couldn't feel my arms and I couldn't breathe. And I was like, oh my God, I'm having a panic attack. I felt so bad that I had done that, as if it affected other people. But looking back, it affected me the most. Things are gonna build up. Stress is inevitable. You're gonna try new things. You're gonna have a lot on your plate. And it's gonna feel really overwhelming. But you have to realize that people care about how you feel. And that took me a while to figure out. And when I was in the process of figuring that out, stress got a lot easier to deal with.
Choosing to room sophomore year with Karen and Chloe, they both were constantly there for me. We grew together, and they're really great people. But they've remained in my life, and I really hope it stays that way.
I just have countless crazy adventure stories of like just doing really fun, out of the ordinary things. I went on a sunset canoe trip with Elise Ray. She's the most magnificent canoer I've ever met. She's amazing.
Sophomore year, me and 4 friends circumnavigated the pond together over a long weekend. We went camping on Briny Point. Very dysfunctional, very fun, entertaining. Maybe like 10 miles, we walked through 3 swamps. I felt like waist deep in mud. It was quite chaotic. One person got stuck in mud, the other person would laugh at them and then fall into mud next.
I've really loved living on M and like the seniors on M with me. Even just like on the night before all of our exhibition papers were due, we all stayed up in the common room and just like messed around even though we had papers due the next day. It's one of my favorite memories from dorm.
Peter Gang is one of the most influential people of my St. Andrews career because he started to room with me at such a vulnerable time during my St. Andrews career, my sophomore year. He was there for me and he didn't even know me, but he was super supportive.
Chloe Tung, she's become like a sister to me. Isabel Huang, I'm really close to her. My Nana, my gran, really powerful woman in my life, especially my Nana who passed away. Like she's someone who gives you kindness all the time, even when you don't think you deserve it. Like she was one of the most like selfless, just loving people I knew.
I don't want to leave anyone out. Everyone that's kind of just been there for me at one point or another. I don't know, I've just fallen in love with all of them. I went on spring break with a lot of those people. There was a moment when I was kind of just sitting quietly at the pool, watching everyone play around. And I was like watching Alex, Wolf, and Lily were like getting in a fight on the grass, and people were like playing in the pool. I wish I could have like taken a snapshot of that moment because I really like learned to value people in my life.
Ingrid Hoops, she's my best friend, and just the memories that I have with her are crazy and exciting and riveting. Ingrid and I weren't really that great of friends sophomore year, but then my junior year when we came back, we were both working the central services on move-in day, and I was like, oh gosh, I'm gonna have to speak to her. I'm so nervous. What am I gonna do? So I went there. I was like, I don't know if she's gonna want to speak to me. So I brought my book. I was reading Twilight at the time. So, and I was like, I looked at her and I looked back and I was reading my Twilight, and she looks at me. She's like, oh, you're reading Twilight? We jumped right back into it. And it was so exciting to have that relationship again. I didn't realize how like the void that was created in my life without her.
I love my sisters. My sisters are 2 of the best people in my life. They're twins, so when I was a freshman, they're seniors. But although I tower over them in height, they definitely tower over me in experience and greatness. We all played soccer, and I loved that so much. We were a triangle of Payton sisters, and if one person on the other team messed with the sister, we would go get you. I would push you to the ground. If one of us fell on the field, the other 2 would like rush to them and make sure they were okay.
My younger sister, she plays ice hockey. She's just like really strong compared to me, or like strong in a different way. And I really look up to her for that. My older brother, he shows that he cares when it matters. But one thing that I have learned, it's just really taught me the value of like staying connected with people, which I've really tried to like tap into now being on quarantine. I never think it hurts to just reach out to the random person that you might have had one conversation with in the common room. Because like you never know how you're specifically thinking about them and that you care about them.
I have a twin sister. Her name's Grayson. She's 10 minutes older than me. And up until the end of our 8th grade year, we had gone to school together for the entirety of our lives. I wasn't completely sure like who I was without her. I really miss school a lot. I constantly think about what I could be doing right now at school. Yesterday was really beautiful outside, and all I could think about was playing Foursquare on the front lawn and going canoeing. I mean, everything's better in hindsight, where you kind of just torture yourself thinking like, I could have done something so much better if I had only known this. I'm really looking forward to the time when I get to see my class together again.
To all young St. Andrews students, and just St. Andrews students in general, know that St. Andrews is an amazing place. Also know that St. Andrews is a high school, and not every aspect of high school is going to be perfect and you're gonna love, and not every moment's gonna feel like rainbows and butterflies and ethos, but know that in the end, if you're working hard and also you're having conversations with people, it's definitely going to be something that is instilled in you that might not be verbalized, but is definitely known, and it'll impact you for a while, for the rest of your life.
I just know there's going to be so much love when we come together again. Even though we don't have this like last semester together, that we'll still be able to like come out of it really strong as a class, because I think in a way we're just going to be constantly trying to make up an effort for what we lost this spring. I mean, St. Andrews brought us together, and it's sad that I don't have much time left there, but it's also like these people are forever, you know?
Mr. Roach has an announcement.
Good evening, St. Andrews. It's great to see you. Thank you to everyone for another great school meeting tonight. As I end the meeting, I'd love to share two quick announcements, tell you a little bit about one of my heroes, George Saunders, and then introduce Julia Elliott's new video about St. Andrews. So the two quick announcements are these. First of all, I wanted to make sure that everyone knew that we will have classes Monday and Tuesday after Easter Sunday. We won't have a traditional long weekend because of the time we had between the end of spring break and the beginning of our virtual session. So just a reminder, we will be in session on Easter Monday and Easter Tuesday next week. Secondly, as I mentioned in my letter to all of you and your parents last week, we will be in touch with you soon about some more details about moving out processes that will be taking place here at St. Andrews during the course of the spring. So please be patient. We'll be getting back to you very, very soon about that process. All of you know that one of the things I love to do at St. Andrews with you, this amazing student body, is just to introduce you to people who've influenced and inspired my life. And one of them is clearly George Saunders. George Saunders is a novelist and a short story writer and a professor of English at Syracuse University. Both as a man and as a writer, he has developed a doctrine that, and a tone and a narrative voice that I can only describe as the most human and empathetic and kind voice that you can possibly imagine. And what I'd love to try to do tonight is just to give you two excerpts from Saunders to inspire the lives that we're all living here at St. Andrews and all across the United States and in the world as we come to terms with the pandemic that we collectively and individually are facing. One of the first great talks that Saunders gave was a commencement talk in 2013 at Syracuse University, where he made the most profound case for kindness that I've ever heard in a commencement speech. I'll be sending this along to you along with the other excerpt that I'll be reading tonight. At the end of his speech, Saunders makes this powerful plea to the graduates of that class to hurry up in their cultivation of kindness as a human attribute that must be developed all the way through one's life. But because of Saunders' belief in the central importance of kindness, he urges the graduates in these words to work really, really hard to speed up their development of kindness. Let me read a piece from that commencement speech. Since, according to me, life is going to be a gradual process of becoming kinder and more loving, hurry up, speed it along, and start right now. There's a confusion in each of us, a sickness really, selfishness. But there's also a cure. So be a good and proactive and even somewhat desperate patient on your own behalf. Seek out the most efficacious anti-selfishness medicines energetically for the rest of your life. You can do all the other things, the ambitious things, but as you do, to the extent that you can, err in the direction of kindness. Do those things that incline you towards the big questions and avoid the things that would reduce you and make you trivial. That luminous part of you that exists beyond personality, your soul, if you will, is as bright and shining as any that has ever been. Bright as Shakespeare, bright as Gandhi's, bright as Mother Teresa's. Clear away everything that keeps you separate from this secret luminous place. Believe it exists, come to know it better, nurture it, and share its fruits tirelessly. Saunders in 2018. How appropriate it is today in 2020 as you live with your families in this moment of shelter in place, quarantine, as we do our best to give our doctors and nurses and researchers the time and the energy and the equipment to do the work that they're attempting to do with patients who are ill all across our nation and the world. And then just this week, on April 3rd, Saunders writes another speech, but this time in the form of a letter to his students who have taken off for their homes all across the country and the world as Syracuse University went into virtual instruction, along with every other college and university and school in the country. I want to read you Saunders' description, his letter, and see if we can tie it to what I was talking about last week, which was this great opportunity that we have to live more intensely, to write more intensely, to think more intensely, and to develop our own personal response to the crisis that we're all experiencing. You'll hear Saunders talk through the metaphor of writing, but clearly this academic miracle that St. Andrews is developing in all of you allows you to think through this crisis and this pandemic through the lenses of language and culture, through history and religion, through science and mathematics, through issues of wellness and individual psychology and happiness, to issues of literature, and to expressions, all expressions in the arts and music. So here's Saunders' voice, writing to his students just this week, and this essay appeared in the New Yorker magazine. Geez, what a hard and depressing and scary time. So much suffering and anxiety everywhere. I saw this bee happily buzzing around a flower yesterday and felt like, moron, if you only knew. But it also occurs to me that this is when the world needs our eyes and ears and minds. This has never happened before here, at least not since 1918. We are, and especially you are, the generation that is going to have to help us make sense of this and recover afterward. What new forms might you invent to fictionalize an event like this, where all the drama is happening in private, essentially? Are you keeping records of the emails and texts you're getting, the thoughts you're having, the way your hearts and minds are reacting to this strange new way of living? It's all important. 50 years from now, people the age you are won't believe this ever happened. Or we'll sort of do that eye roll we all do when someone tells us something about some crazy thing that happened in 1970. What will convince that future kid is what you are able to write about this. And what you're able to write about it will depend on how much sharp attention you are paying now and what records you keep. Also, I think with how open you can keep your heart. I'm trying to practice feeling something like, so this is happening now. Or, so this too is a part of life on Earth. Didn't know that, universe. Thanks so much, stinker. And then I real quick try to pretend that I didn't just call the universe a stinker. I did a piece once where I went to live, incognito, in a homeless camp in Fresno for a week. Very intense, but the best thing I heard in there was from this older guy from Guatemala who was always saying, everything is always keep changing. Truer words were never spoken. It's when we expect solidity, non-change, that we get taken by surprise. And we always expect solidity, no matter how well we know better. Well, this is all sounding a little preachy, and let me confess that I'm not taking my own advice at all. It's happening so fast. Paula has what we are hoping is just a bad cold, and I'm doing a lot of inept caregiving. Our dogs can feel that something weird is going on. No walk? Again? But I guess what I'm trying to say is that the world is like a sleeping tiger, and we tend to live our lives there on its back. And now and then that tiger wakes up. And that is terrifying. Sometimes it wakes up and someone we love dies. Or someone breaks our heart. Or there's a pandemic. But this is far from the first time that tiger has become awake. He or she has been doing it since the beginning of time and will never stop doing it. And there always have been writers to observe it and later make some sort of sense of it, or at least bear witness to it. It's good for the world for a writer to bear witness. And it's good for the writer too, especially if she can bear witness with love and humor and, despite it all, some fondness for the world, just as it is manifesting, warts and all. All this to say, there's still work to be done, and now more than ever. There's a beautiful story about the Russian poet, Anna Akhmatova. Her son was arrested during the Stalinist purges. One day, she was standing outside the prison with hundreds of other women in similar situations. It's Russian cold, and they have to go there every day. Wait for hours in this big open yard, then get the answer that today and every day there will be no news. But every day they keep coming back. A woman, recognizing her as the famous poet, says, "Poet, can you write this?" And Akhmatova thinks about it a second and goes, "Yes." I wish you all the best during this crazy period. Someday soon, things will be back to some sort of normal, and it will be easier to be happy again. I believe this, and I hope it for each one of you. And I look forward to seeing you all again and working with you. Please feel free to email me anytime for any reason. George. Saunders has a way of responding to tragedy and the difficulties of life with an immense sense of composure and wisdom, gentleness and kindness. Perhaps his words will remember that part of the gift of the St. Andrews education and the St. Andrews community is for you to be able to think carefully about what we are all experiencing. Every one of us will have a story, will have a perspective, will have a question, will have a response, will have a memory. In my letter on Thursday, I told you my memory of this time is being written day by day and week by week. And as I said last week, my long chapter in the narrative that I plan to write will be about the class of 2020. It'll be a story of how the class built us up over the first 2/3 of the year and made us dream bigger dreams and accomplish greater goals. It'll be about their love for all of you as underformers and their deep respect and admiration and support for you teachers and you staff members as parts of this community. It'll be watching you all grow up so that you were ready for this challenge and that you were ready for this crisis. And all of us within the school who have been led by you and inspired by you are looking forward to the special celebration that we'll create for all of you. So as I say goodnight and welcome you to a new week at St. Andrews, I'm really excited to share this video created by Julia Elliott, class of 1988. It was great fun for me to bring her back to St. Andrews. She was one of my best students. So thoughtful and intelligent and brilliant as a high school student. And then as a accomplished artist and documentary writer and producer, it was quite amazing to bring her back and to watch her bring this miraculous school alive on film. We had originally thought that this film would be first shown next fall as part of a big celebration for St. Andrews in New York City and in Washington, D.C. and in San Francisco. But when the pandemic hit and when St. Andrews had to go into virtual instruction, we realized that we had to develop a way to show our prospective students and families the ethos and core of our school, because it is so different and it is so powerful, and it's made to last. And it's made to endure, and it's made to stand even in moments of adversity and difficulty. So Julia Elliott produced this beautiful video that you're about to see. But I wanted each and every one of you to know tonight, you students, you faculty members, you staff members, you built this culture. You created this video. You make the magic happen. And tonight, I express my love and my best wishes for health and happiness to you and to your beloved families wherever you may be. Good night and enjoy the video. Good evening, St. Andrews. It's great.
Everyone who visits St. Andrews of today knows that this is an extraordinary school. There's a spirit, an ethos, a climate, a culture unlike any other.
When I first arrived on campus, I really felt so welcomed by my big sister, my advisor, my roommate. It just felt like everyone really wanted me to succeed and be my very best.
One of the things that keeps me here and wanting to teach here is absolutely the diversity of the school community.
We create this connection that really I don't believe any other school has.
Because everyone's from all over, everyone has different opinions and different experiences. It just opens a new level of learning and of conversation and of growth for everyone.
Because St. Andrews was founded on this radical vision of financial aid and open access to everyone, that is the foundation of everything we do.
It's like a culture of kindness. It's really unlike anything I've ever been a part of.
It is all coming together, really trying to understand, to uplift one another, and to honor who we are as individuals.
You come to St. Andrews and you have an authentic relationship with people, the care.
There's no environment like this in the world.
Teaching and learning at St. Andrews is different from all other places. Your teachers have such a strong trust in you. They want you to succeed.
We expect students to complete really strong, thoughtful work. It's how are we actually authentically engaging students in the real world work of a scientist, of a historian.
We want students to have exciting scholarly experiences of the kind that are going to make them say, I loved that. That pushed me. That made me think in new ways.
All these classes, it's not about the grade, but more so that you can understand the concept and apply it to other things. Each religion that we learned about so far is like, we're all reaching for the same thing, which is liberation. It allows you to just dig deep, and I think that's really cool.
Last year I took a photography class. I never thought I would take that, but since St. Andrews gave me the opportunity to do so, now I want to take photography again next year. It just opens so many doors for you. Last year I took the highest math offered at the time, so like this year Mr. Kemmer made a new class for everyone who has taken that level. You're always pushed no matter how advanced you are.
In the science classrooms here, we use different ways to derive these formulas so that you really understand them. It's not something that you've memorized, it's something that you've really learned.
In my creative writing class, I was really nervous because I'd never written anything creatively before.
Yeah, it's about childishness or the quality of being a child.
It taught me that it's okay to take a risk, that it's not always kind of the end goal that's as important as the process.
What makes teaching and learning so unique at St. Andrews is our ability to get to know our students really, really well.
This is a faculty that is incredibly passionate about the work of our disciplines, but maybe most importantly, passionate about students.
The classes are so small, and you get a lot of individual time with your teacher, which just deepens your learning. And something that I really enjoy is you can reach out to your teacher and have those one-on-one connections.
The faculty of St. Andrews, they are amazing. I love every single one of my teachers.
Mr. Miller, but we call him Profe. Whenever someone has a question, his eyes light up.
Mr. Carroll
compete as a team. It should be much easier for us to win the ball.
Is the best coach I've ever had. Mrs. Staff, she brings enormous amount of energy to our class.
Mr. Kunin, he's a very thoughtful teacher and dorm parent.
Miss Pressman, she's so smart.
This fusion coalition of the populists and the Republicans.
Mr. Gold, the dance teacher.
Mr. Torrey.
Mr. Roach.
Mr. Daly. My advisor, Mr. O'Connell.
My advisor.
My advisor.
My advisor, Will Robinson. He'll always push me to be the best version of myself.
The faculty at St. Andrews are just, they're incredible people. They come from so many different perspectives and backgrounds and life experiences and are just all so all in at St. Andrews and so eager to make this an authentic place to live and to learn and give 110% every day.
The most important opportunity I've had is being an athlete and a student and finding the balance to stay committed to both.
Everyone supports you. Everyone wants you to succeed, and everyone wants to work together to win that game. They want to win that championship, but more than anything, they want to see you be your very best.
Sports have always been a big part of my life, and being able to be on 3 varsity teams as a freshman and a sophomore and being able to compete at the highest level I can right now, it's something that I just really love.
Last year and this year, I did fall dance. Everyone comes in at a different level in fall dance, and I think it's amazing to see the evolution of people in just a few months.
What makes this school so special is that we have phenomenal athletes and students who all want to be here to be the best they can be and have fun while doing it. Whether that's playing spike ball when the weather's good, or having the Carol Shout, or having homecoming.
On Saturdays and Sundays, those are days to kind of unwind and come together. Places like the front lawn and go on trips with each other.
I can grab my roommate and just get a Frisbee, go swimming and go canoeing.
And that really helps build community because we're away from our work and we're just enjoying each other. I was looking for a small school where there's a strong sense of community. And of course, St. Andrews is like 100% boarding school.
Dorm life is absolutely amazing. I love it so much. If you're just walking down the hallway, there's so many opportunities for conversations.
We all study together on dorm, and then we have functions afterwards, and it kind of brings everybody closer together. I really love that. that part of it.
We are very similar to a brotherhood on dorm.
Yeah.
If your brother has a birthday or if he won a very important game, we're gonna pick you up.
Seniors live on dorm with us, and they are absolutely amazing. They're like your older sibling. They kind of guide you, and they're always there for advice.
In the dormitories, our kids get to practice and learn empathy and kindness. They are faculty who care deeply and are invested in them.
That's the magic of this place, is that you get this incredible community of people who want to know the real you and want to help you embrace that and love that.
Because you live with them and you teach them and you coach them, that you get to know them. Each one of these students so well, and then you can push them and support them in a very rigorous but safe space.
Kind of like having a bunch of parents, because instead of them seeing me only in the classroom, they kind of get to see me in all of these different aspects of my life. It gives us kind of a deeper connection or deeper understanding of each other.
I think anybody who visits St. Andrews today is so moved and inspired by what they see. I'm so proud of the academic engagement of the kids. I'm so proud of the fact that they care so deeply for one another.
I mean, this school is an amazing place. We all make each other better. We make each other stronger thinkers. We make each other better people.
I think the most important opportunity that I've received at St. Andrews is to be with people who are as passionate about learning, or even more as I am.
I feel like I owe it to St. Andrews for helping me grow into a man. It's beautiful. Just shaping the rest of my life.
I'm not even done with St. Andrews yet, and I feel really confident about the next step, going to college, because St. Andrews gives us such a strong foundation.
I know that I'm going to take so many of the lessons that I've learned here to the next level, and I'm going to make a difference. And I think that because I've been given so many opportunities here, I can't wait to see what happens.
Whether it be a new sport you can play or just the teachers in the class that you learn from who are so just eager to teach, it's a no-brainer why I would come to a school like this.
If you come here, we're going to be so excited to have you, because you're going to be a great part of St. Andrews, and you're going to help contribute to the family that we already have.
Have a good night, everyone. We love you. We miss you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The after party begins.
Let's go. Piper, I love you.
Sierra,
Yeah.
See.
have you finished math?
I haven't started, and you know the answer to that.
Yeah, same.
Okay, I'm glad we're on the same page, James.
Abby, Sierra, don't we have a K function?
Oh, yeah, like right now.
Yeah, we do.
All right, Abby.
Go to your function, Sierra.
Go to your function. Okay, goodbye, everybody.
Bye.